Oh, come on. Come on, you piece of junk. Come on, start. Not again. Oh, let's see if the radio still works. Yeah, well.
All that.
Yeah, there's... Oh, that show Motor Mouse is on.
And good morning and welcome to your Motor Mouth Show, your SLO County Car Talk Show featuring Mr. Stop and Mr. Go. This is Jeff Spevack, Continental Motor Works. I'll be Mr. Go this morning, and my partner here, John Fiorentino, also from Continental Motor Works, is here, Mr. Stop. Good morning, Mr. Stop.
Good morning, Mr. Go. How are you today?
I'm good.
Good.
Been trying to get John on the show here for a while, so I'm glad we've got John here, and we're here to talk with you about cars. We are a live call-in car talk show. The way that works is you call us, and now in San Luis County, you have to dial the 805 first, so it would be 1-805-543-8830. That's 805-543-8830. Love to have you call us. The show is so much more interesting when you call us. And we're going to talk a little bit. Here's the question we're going to put out to you. What is the best and worst car that you've ever had? John and I will put in our 2 cents here. But if you're the first caller, you'll win a premium at Continental Motor Works. You can get a set of wiper blades or a canvas bag or a sunshade or something fun for your car. So be that first caller at 805-543-8830. What's the best and worst car you've ever had? So I'll start. And so when I think of the best and worst car I've ever had, it kind of goes into 2 categories because is it my favorite car or is it the most reliable car? My favorite car was my first car, my high school car, which was a Volkswagen Bug convertible. That's the car I learned to drive on, and that's the car I drove to high school. It was a 63 Volkswagen Bug convertible, yellow, and it was a lot of fun. But probably the most reliable car and best car, as far as from that standpoint, that didn't cost me, hardly anything to fix, is probably my current car, the 2011 Nissan Leaf, which really has been trouble-free for 7 years with no emissions and electric instead of gas, and just, a zoom-in little car, really a lot of fun. Probably the worst car I ever had was the car that I learned to work on first, which was a 65 Volkswagen Spevack, which I think everything on that car broke at one time or another. Engine, brake master cylinder while I was driving it, clutch cable, accelerator cable, carburation, brakes, everything. So I did learn to work on a car that broke a lot, which was good. What about you, John?
I kind of same thing as you, Jeff. My first car is a Toyota Celica. Learned to drive with that car. Love that car. A lot of good memories in it. And
what year was it?
It was a 1977.
Okay.
Yeah. Great.
Celica's great car.
Great car. Yeah. It worked well, and I was in high school auto shop and learned how to tear things apart and fix things, and I learned a lot of mechanical skills with that car. Kind of a sad day to see that one go, but as they say, you got to move onward and upward. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it was a great vehicle. And as far as the most reliable car, it's probably the one I'm driving right now also. I've got a 95 Tacoma pickup. And
you're a Toyota guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love them. I love all cars. They're just all cars interest me. But, yeah, this little Tacoma, it's about 260,000 miles on it, and it just runs like a champ. It has never let me down, and been a great vehicle. As far as the most unreliable car I've had, I don't know. I've had a couple that have had transmission issues. I've had a 73 Ford Ranchero that left me stranded on the side of the road on Highway 41 one night at 10 o'clock at night. That was an interesting one. But, yeah, even though the cars gave me some problems, I still enjoyed them. I still love those vehicles. They... Once again, a lot of good memories with them and such. But, car's an interesting thing. You get over 10,000 parts inside of a car, and something's bound to let go here and there. You just got to, expect it. Expect it.
You and I know how many things can possibly fail on a car, and it's really a modern miracle that a car does everything it does.
It is.
I mean, it's not a refrigerator in your kitchen where it just sits there, and it just, you plug it in. The car goes over potholes. It goes through all these different temperature ranges, and you're going over the Cuesta grade, and you're braking, and you're turning, and it just...
Can I say something?
Sure.
I apologize to my car when I drive through a pothole. Sorry about that.
Sorry, baby. Sorry I did that to you. That's funny. But I mean, it is really amazing that cars just don't have problems for everything they do.
Exactly. Yeah. If you can take a vehicle and get in and drive a car cross country 2-3 times back and forth without stopping for anything but gas and rest, and they'll do it.
And when I think about all the technology that's in my Nissan Leaf, I mean, the Leaf does have, some of its shortcomings, but it's been so reliable. And all the things that it does electronically, which is a lot of it is new technology, and it's been pretty amazing. So pat on the back for Nissan. Yeah. What about you, Jim?
Oh gosh. Well, probably like you were saying, John was saying, I think the most reliable is the one I have currently. I got this, 05 Dodge Magnum.
You love that Magnum.
I love my Magnum. It's great. Yeah. And I have never had any real problems with it. I mean,
and was that the car that you had a bad accident in?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I've had, but those were good cars too. I had those were Ford Thunderbirds, not the 2-seater version, but the kind of deluxe sedan version they did.
The 70s versions.
No. The more of the 2000s sedan kind of version.
Okay, yeah.
I've got a call coming.
Yeah, let's take it in. We'll keep talking.
Okay.
So, those of you out there in Radio Land, we are the Motor Mouth Show. We'd love to hear from you. Please give us a call at 805-543-8830. I say 805 because now you got to dial 805. Most of you know that out there. So if whatever you want to talk about cars, if you're having a problem with your car, a warning light on, you're not sure whether to keep your car or sell the car, and you want us to put you on the Motor Mouth couch and figure out and give you some advice, we're here for you. If you have a pet peeve about other drivers on the road, if you're having a service issue with your car, not sure what kind of oil to use, or, he got some sort of a funny smell or a funny noise, or, want to talk about your maintenance schedule, Motor Mouths would love to talk to you. That's 805-543-8830. And we have a call coming in that we're going to take, and we're going to talk to Jack from Santa Margarita, excuse me.
Santa Margarita.
Good morning, Jack.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thanks for calling. How are you?
Oh, yes. I'm talking about my best car wasn't my first car. It was the one I ordered from the factory, a 66 GTO, three deuces, a 4-speed transmission, Tiger Claw tires. That was the Catch Me Out back then. And
I think if you Googled the people's favorite muscle cars, I think the GTO would come out on top. That car was really cool.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, got a couple speeding tickets in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the absolutely worst one I had problems with was, and I don't remember the exact year, but it was an early 1970 Fiat.
Oh boy!
Nothing.
Okay, you hit the nail on the head there.
In retrospect, that had to be a throwaway car.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing but, especially with, there was something wrong with the accelerator cable that went to the firewall, and it kept breaking. never could solve the problem with that. That was just one of the many problems. But then after that, I think another one on my worst car list was one of the very first Honda cars that came out. That was another.
The really little one. Was it like the first generation Civic?
No. This was, it wasn't a Civic.
Okay, it was before the Civic.
No, before the Civic.
Okay, yeah.
It was the very first one that they imported over here. The first.
Yeah, it was a really small car.
A very small car.
Yeah. Okay. I don't remember what it was called. Like the something like the Honda 500 or something like that. Yeah, I remember it.
Like
yeah,
that.
they were working things out a little bit back then.
Yeah.
You know, the Fiat, of course, if you say Fiat to a mechanic, I mean, it's like one of the most unreliable cars, that we could think of.
Well, they used to be. The new ones are better.
Yeah.
Much better.
But, I mean, you got to figure that Italian and French cars are sexy and unreliable.
Yeah, okay.
For the most part, through our experience.
Oh, I got a question about my 2001 Mazda, the remote for opening and closing the doors in the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I change the battery, and most often when it doesn't, it's because I assume something's gotten wet, because in the rainy season it doesn't work as often. What is there that I might be able to see if it's got damp in the area or something? I have no idea where to start.
Well, and that one there, first thing we'd start with is to run a diagnostics on the system. Yeah, that remote system, it is part of probably into the body control module with the Mazda. So hook scan tool in and run a diagnostics on it, see if anything comes up, trouble codes. As far as the receiver module, I just have to test the performance of it and see the batteries.
It's an 01 Mazda. What model is it?
ES 626.
Oh, it's a 626. Okay, thank you. Okay. So, Jack, do you have two remotes?
I do.
Okay, and does the same thing happen with both?
I don't know, because I have the extra one set away.
Okay.
So in case I lose one, I know where the other one's at. So
the very first thing I would try is go buy two like Duracell batteries. Buy the fresh, most expensive battery you can for those, and put one in each one.
Okay. And
then try them both. And then if you're having problems, with that way, it'll rule out maybe you've got one key fob that got wet, or that isn't having a problem. If they're both doing it, then exactly what John said, you're going to have a problem with what that is speaking to. It's whether it be a control module or something in that system that's not, operating properly. But hopefully it's just one of those fobs. But, with the 01626, that was a very early version of that system, and they did have problems.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you got a little homework there. Go ahead and get both of those fobs out and put some new battery. Even if you just replace the battery, unless if you put a really good, the best batteries you can get in there, and then use them both, and then when you have a problem, have the other one handy so that you can see, okay, are both of them having a problem?
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Jack, thanks for calling. You're the first caller today, so stop by Continental Motor Works and we'll fix you up with a free prize for that.
Well, thank you.
We appreciate you being a part of the Motor Mouth Show. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you again soon, I'm sure,
Thank you for
Jack.
calling, Jack.
All right, Jack from Santa Margarita, letting us know his favorite car, which would probably have been my favorite car too, a 66 GTO. And then his least favorite car or least reliable car was his 70 Fiat. You know, I know people that have had Fiats. They were a lot of fun to drive. And so people, you know, there's a lot of, you know, depending on the time you had it and all of that, but they did break a lot. So,
mine was a 1973 Pontiac Astor.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Astor.
Yeah, like the Chevy Vega.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. The distributor decided to blow up
Oh boy.
coming down the Caneo grade out of Los Angeles.
Oh no. left you stranded there, huh?
Yes. Well,
Yeah, sometimes
actually,
we remember
I was
those
coming down
things.
I was coming down the grade, and I did probably the most impossible thing ever. I was clear on the inside of the lane of the 101 freeway, and I was able to clear the freeway
Wow.
and get over to
Put your emergency flashers on and
yeah, and I coasted it because everybody saw that the car
yeah.
had thrown sparks, and I was coming down the grade, and I got
Nighttime or daytime?
nighttime.
Oh boy.
Oh, well, yeah. It was like after evening rush hour,
Yeah.
actually. And I was able to get all the way over, and I did not hit the brakes one time because the wind had blown the fire out.
Oh, yeah.
The sparks out. I did not hit the brakes one time, and I coasted it all the way to the first off-ramp for Camarillo.
Nicely done.
This time did not have any sort of cell phone or anything like that.
Right, sure.
Found a restaurant open on the first round of
First off ramp.
first off
Yeah.
ramp. Called for a tow truck. Called for somebody to come
Yeah,
get me.
yeah.
And it had blown up there was like some sort of
The
computer
module
chip
inside
kind of
the
thing
distributor.
in the distributor cap.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not fun. But
Yeah,
anyway,
right.
but
You did well though.
but I did well.
Yeah. That's right.
Let's get to Roberta. We got Roberta on the phone.
Hey, Roberta, good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
We're good. How are you? Good to hear from you.
I'm doing okay. Anyway, the worst car is the Fiat.
I think we have a common theme here. I think we have a little bit of a theme.
I had a 1972 Fiat. I don't know what was it.
A Spider or something.
I don't know,
Yeah.
something like that. It was 1972.
124.
124, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. It was the worst.
Yeah.
The worst. I
Yeah.
had to replace everything on that vehicle. Everything except the Michelin tires.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, because the Michelin tires were good.
That's
but
funny.
anyway, the fan went on and it had a little fuse.
Yeah.
And if the fuse broke, your fan didn't go on. So I ended up burning up my engine because I went to go pick up my
no.
brother. Yeah, he was like working out of town in the mountains, Big Bear, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a new car, so my mom said, let's go pick him up in your car. Yeah, it was brand new.
Yeah.
And then we drove up there, and then the fuse, I guess, broke, whatever.
Oh,
and
so the engine
started
blew on your
heating,
way
and
up to
I tried to
Big
go
Bear.
down the hills, and I just kept going because it was getting late.
Ouch.
That was the worst.
Yeah.
The worst.
Yeah.
That was the worst car. And I replaced, I think, almost everything.
All right. Well,
everything.
it's a good experience as a car owner to learn what you don't
Yeah,
want to do.
don't ever
yeah.
buy a Fiat.
Yeah.
I'd never buy a Fiat. I'd stick with Chevy or Ford. That's it.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go. What
Oh,
about
it
your
was the
favorite
worst.
car, Roberta?
Yeah.
What about your favorite car?
What was the worst one you had? You had a Fiat too, or no?
No, but Jack, who just called, did.
Yeah.
And so, what was your favorite car?
Well, you know what? I had a 77 Malibu Classic
There you
with
go.
the
Wow.
Rolls Royce grill and the big front end. It stuck out to the moon, and that car just floated down the road. I mean, it was so big and so long. It just floated. It just had the 354 barrel get out of my way engine. Yeah, that's right.
Big American muscle machine. 77.
Yeah, it was.
Huh?
It was good.
Okay. Malibu
And to
Classic.
this day, I like American cars. I mean, there's some good foreign cars, but you know what?
What are you driving now, Roberta?
I have a Nissan Versa, and it's like brand new. You want to buy it? Only has 587 miles. And you want to know what year it is?
What year is it?
2011.
Wow.
Yeah, if anyone want to buy it, and it has every bell and whistle, navigation.
You wouldn't have any problem selling that car,
radio,
Roberta. That's a
spoiler,
great
alloy wheels, whatever.
Gets good gas. Well, so why do you want to sell it?
It actually handles good, and it's actually a good little car.
Yeah.
And it has power for a little car.
So why do you want to sell it?
And then I have a GMC Yukon.
There you go.
Well, you've got a little bit of everything there. You got a little economy car and a big SUV.
Yeah, I sold my Ranchero, so I have a SUV.
All right. So you got cars for all reasons. You got a little commuter car to get around, good gas mileage, and you got an SUV to take on your trips or go camping or whatever.
Or to put whatever in the back. It's just like a truck. It's big and strong. It will tow whatever.
You got it covered, Roberta.
Yeah. Anyway, so Pat's not there today?
No, Matt is he's taking a trip with his family. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you got to get away sometimes.
That's right. Absolutely.
That's right. All right.
Hey,
I just wanted
Roberta.
to tell you my worst vehicle.
Thank you for calling. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right.
Have
Bye-bye.
a good weekend. Hey, we're going to go to our first break of the day. We are the Motor Mounts. This is Jeff and John. We are here for you till 9 a.m. We would love for you to call us at 805-543-8830. We'll be back.
And I got a classic commercial here. Talking about the Pontiac Astra, I thought about the Chevy Vega here. So I've got the commercial for a 1975 Chevy Vega filmed out in Death Valley. Some sort of parallel there, I think. But anyway, going out to 1975 Chevy Vega.
Okay.
Death Valley, the hottest place in America. 3 1976 Chevrolet Vegas equipped with a new Dura-built engine recently ran 60,000 miles each through country like this. In 180,000 total miles, the only engine part replaced other than maintenance items was one timing belt. 1976 Chevy Vega Dura-built engine. Built to take it. Don't just take our word for it. Ask Death Valley.
When it's time to service your car,
or a warning light is starting to glow,
go see the pros at Absolute Auto.
At the corner of Sacramento and Capitolio.
Having a problem with the brakes or the steering down below?
Or an alignment to adjust the tow?
Computer systems, they do know.
Call 543-8737 to reach Absolute Auto.
Hi, this is Jeff Spevack, Motormouth co-host and owner of Continental Motorworks. What can you expect here at Continental? We will treat you and your car with care and respect and gratitude. We will bend over backwards to earn your trust. You will fully understand what we are doing on your car and know how much it will cost before we do the work. You will always get value, a fair exchange. You work hard for your money. We believe we should work smarter and harder for what you pay us for. Now in our 36th year, we fix it all. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and hybrids.
Call Jeff at Continental Motorworks at 541-1464. Mention this ad and receive 10% off labor.
Here's some inside information to get your gas mileage back. Inside your engine, carbon builds up, clogging the injectors and combustion area. If you want your fuel system cleaned in just one tank of fuel, use what the inside car guys use most. It's called BG44K. In fact, service managers use it almost 3-to-1 over any other fuel system cleaner. To find a shop with BG products, go to bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
BG.
Coming back with a little 80s music here, Motor Mouth Show here. This is Jeff and John talking to you live from KVEC Studios. And we would love to talk with you. And the way that works is you call us. We're a live call-in car talk show. Anything about your car. Our topic for the day is best and worst cars that you've ever had. But whatever you want to talk about, we're going to talk a little bit about other topics like summer season and smog checks and different tips on your cars. So give us a call, 805-543 8830. Motor Mouse would love to hear from you. 805-543-8830. So, of course, the first day of summer's coming up in about 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. And so we'd like to talk a little bit about the challenges of your car during the summer, the engine cooling system. Sometimes we talk to customers about cooling systems, and they think we're talking about air conditioning.
Yeah.
And so you've got really two cooling systems in your car, at least two. One of them would be the one that we're most familiar with, calling the cooling system, which would be what cools your engine, which is the coolant that goes through your radiator and your hoses and your water pump and your heater core, flows all the way through that system, which is very important. So let's start there. So, we at Continental Motor Works really stress keeping that coolant clean. In fact, the key to keeping your car in great shape for 200,000 miles is the basics of keeping things clean: the coolant, the transmission fluid, the brake fluid, the power steering fluid, which we recommend all of that about every 60,000 miles. So, John, tell people why we want to keep that fluid clean.
Well, the fluid's not only keeping them clean, but the fluids break down. They have additive packages in them. The engine coolant, for instance, it has anti-corrosion inhibitors. It has lubricating properties to it. And those things break down over time, just like your engine oil. A lot of people think, well, gosh, I looked in the reservoir and I saw coolant in there. Everything's good to go. And that's just not the case. With engine coolant, it is touching virtually inside of a lot of metallic parts, the cylinder heads, the engine block, as Jeff said, the water pump that's moving it. And there's a lot of pressures in there, a lot of turbulence, and that coolant, as it breaks down the corrosion inhibitors, it causes an issue called electrolysis. Mm-hmm. And electrolysis will eat away at the cooling passages of the engine and the cylinder head gaskets, water pump seals, radiator, all these things. So by keeping that coolant fresh, it's going to not only help the engine stay cooler, but it is going to stop that internal corrosion that happens in the cooling system.
This is what we call preventative maintenance, and so keeping that, just changing that coolant every 60,000 miles or every 5 years is what really is going to keep you in good shape. And, people say, well, it looks okay. And so what John is talking about is the chemical process that happens to that coolant when you let it stay in there too long. And it's deadly for the engine. That's why head gaskets blow. That's why radiators go. Somebody will come in and they go, my car's 10 years old. Why did my radiator go? Well, you never changed the coolant. So it eats at it from the inside. So, we're recommending these fluids because the payoff is huge. And the same thing with, all the other fluids: brake fluid, transmission fluid, power steering fluid, all very important to change. But the basic preventative maintenance for your cooling system is keeping that coolant clean. And so then the other things in the cooling system, like belts and hoses, are the things that have a possibility of needing to be changed. So we look at the hoses, and we usually like to recommend changing them at about maybe 8 to 10 years or 6 to 10 years or every 100,000 miles. And the same thing with the belts. And the reason we do that is you don't want one of those to blow on a trip or break on a trip, and that could be catastrophic for you too.
I got a point on that. We were talking about changing all the fluids and the hoses and everything. Well, I had my water pump, I think, changed in my in one of my cars. Mm-hmm. Anyway, there was a little tiny, we changed all the hoses and everything, but there was a little tiny hose that went from the block to some other part in the car. I forgot where it was. Anyway, just like a little short hose. And the mechanic was probably that's going to be okay. We shouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, right.
Well, it was one of the road because we changed
that's always the downfall. Yeah.
We had changed everything else. Well, put pressure on that little tiny hose, and that's what went. And of course, he did the work for free to fix that. But change them all.
Yeah.
Even the most obscure little tiny ones.
So, a lot of people, you don't see all the different coolant hoses that are in your car. And so there's, John, how many hoses could a car have?
I think the one vehicle that I worked on that had the most coolant hoses was a 1980, 79, something like that, Honda Prelude. There were 17 hoses in that car. And it was over 8 hours of work to get them. As Jim was saying, the little tiny hoses, there was so many hoses in that car. I couldn't believe it.
But most modern cars have somewhere between like 6 and 9 hoses.
Yeah.
But you don't see them all. You see the upper radiator hose, and you think, oh well, we should do that hose. But you've got radiator hoses, heater hoses, bypass hoses, and those hoses, all have the potential of causing you problems. Then let's talk to Danny from SLO. Good morning, Danny. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Jeff. How are you this morning?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for calling.
Let's see. Worst and the best. My worst car was a little Fiat.
We have a theme here.
The theme is continuing.
It was a real dog. And I gave it to my son, and when he went to sell it or trade it in, they wanted him to give him $100 just to take it off his hands.
That's funny.
That was great. Well, anyway, the best car I ever had was a Honda CR-V, which I still have.
There you go.
2002.
There you go.
190,000 miles on it, and it just keeps going.
Fabulous car.
Yeah. Okay.
Love the
other
CR-V.
thing from a couple of weeks ago, you were asking for pet peeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, my 2 pet peeves, and they both involve bicyclists.
Uh-oh.
You're on a 2-lane road with a bike lane, and you come across a couple of bicyclists. One of them is in the bike lane, the other one is in the car lane.
Yeah.
And they should be running single file. In fact, I think the law says you're supposed to.
Yeah, and we would like to see, with Bike Slow County, we would like to see enforcement of those type of things. We think that, bicyclists need to obey the traffic laws, just like cars need to obey the traffic laws.
Oh, I agree.
And so that is annoying. I totally agree.
Okay, fine. All right, pass it along to your buddies.
Okay, well then you go ahead and pass along to your...
You're walking on the Bob Jones Trail, and some guy on a bicyclist comes back to you, or by you at 20 miles an hour, doesn't signal. He says he rings his bell, but you don't hear it. He's coming too fast. He's going faster than the speed of sound, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to see some signs on the Bob Jones Trail educating people on the, proper way of walking and riding, on the trail.
Well, I agree. And, if a guy comes up behind me and just hollers before he gets to me, on your left, hey, fine. And I thank him when they do that.
Sure.
Okay, that's my mine for today.
Danny, we appreciate it. Thanks for your call.
Okay,
have a
Jeff.
great weekend.
Bye.
Appreciate it. All right, we have a common theme on the worst cars out there, and that was the Fiat. I know we're picking on the Fiats, but they have a good reputation in the past there. And Honda CR-V. We all know how reliable Honda is. A lot of people feel like it's the best car in the world. Maybe Toyota, maybe Honda. They always are competing for the best, most reliable car in the world, but that CR-V is right up there. So
it is.
And we all have a lot of pet peeves out there, and it's certainly annoying to have people not obeying the traffic laws, and so we definitely agree with Danny on that stuff too. So, hey, we're the Motor Mouse. We are Jeff and John this morning, and we are here till 9 a.m. Looks like we got another call coming in. We would love to hear from you, whatever you would like to talk about regarding cars. And we are at 805-543-8830. That's 805-543-8830. Call your Motor Mouse. Whatever you want to talk about, be glad to talk to you. We were talking a little bit about cooling systems, and so make sure that if you're going to be taking a trip this summer, that you have your car inspected for things like that. A good, and you shouldn't have to go in just for a special summer check. If your shop you're going to is taking care of your car properly, they should be inspecting everything, whether it be, tires, brakes, suspension, steering, belts, hoses, fluids, lights. If you're getting somebody that's looking at all those things for you and you're doing it on a regular basis, like every 5,000 miles or every 6 months, you should be good. Let's talk to Brad from Pismo. Hi, Brad.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you this morning?
Excellent. How you doing?
Wonderful. Hey, I got a quick question for you. My wife, the last 3 vehicles she has leased, and she's leased it and kept it for 36 months, and we have always, the residual value on the vehicle is usually much, much less than what the cars sell for on the lots. So what we've lately been looking for is we've been looking at Hondas and Toyotas that have a 3-year maintenance package. So the time that she's driving it, she has fixed costs. She puts very low miles on the vehicle, so it's always worth a lot of money at the end. We made out like bandits with a Honda. The Toyota we're coming up on right now, it's looking pretty good. However, the Toyota only had a 2.5-year maintenance schedule. What do you see in the way of new vehicles, Hondas, Toyotas, that we should consider? I mean, we've stayed away from BMWs and stuff like that just because the residual usually doesn't, it doesn't, am I making sense? It doesn't make sense to buy it and then try and resell it.
Sure. Well, so the most reliable car is going to be the car that they haven't just put a new model out this year. So like, for instance, when you look at Toyota, you've got Toyota Corolla, you've got Toyota Camry. These are cars that they've had the same model since the 60s. I mean,
right,
that they're not.
The one we're in right now is a Camry. The one prior to that was an Accord. So, and the prior to that was a CRV. So we tried to stick with those things, just as you said, that don't. They're not the new kid on the block.
You're doing this. You're doing exactly what I would recommend. You're taking the most known, reliable vehicles that you can, whether it be Honda or Toyota, I mean, you're not going to go wrong with that. Those are going to be great cars.
That's true, yeah. And you're doing the lease option, which is a good way of going about it if that works for you. But you're getting into that era where maybe you might think about purchasing the vehicle at the end of the lease. The next 2 years of driving, the car's still going to be very reliable as long as the maintenance is done on it. And I think that your loss of value in the vehicle in the next 2 years is going to be much less than the previous 3. Usually a car loses most of its value in the first year of ownership.
Precisely. But what's interesting with this is, because we keep it at, the 2 years, 9 months, 2 years, 10, 11, 3 years, somewhere in that neighborhood, I already list the car on Craigslist, and I'm very upfront about it. I said, this is what I've got. This is the problems with it, if there's a door scratch or anything. And what we find is the difference between what we owe when we buy the car and what I'm able to sell the car for pretty much pays for the next lease completely. So we've been doing this. I think we had about an $1,100 down on the first one 9 or 10 years ago. We've put no money down since then, and we're virtually driving a vehicle for what it cost in fuel.
That sounds like you got
it down. Yeah,
you got it.
You're doing it right, Brad.
All right. Well, so just stick with the Toyotas and Hondas. I mean, I don't see the Nissans or the others with the resale. I mean, you see the Infinities and the higher end, the Acuras. They tend to lease pretty well, but the residual at the end, it's hard selling them for any money. So,
well, you're already the expert on the plan. So keep doing what you're doing. Honda, Toyota, best 2 cars in the world, best resale value. It sounds like you're getting a little tired of them and you want to branch out and do something else. So, you can do that, but you may not.
I'm driving a 2001 Chevy pickup. It does just fine. The boss likes to have something new every couple of years.
You may not get the same resale value out of something else, and you're seeing the proof in the pudding of the Honda and Toyota. So,
gentlemen, you have a great day.
Thank you, Brad. We appreciate your input. So, Brad's good call about leases. It's certainly one way of doing it. I think John and I both keep our cars for 20 years, so we buy a car and we just keep it forever. But there's some people that want to keep driving a new car, and that's a good way to do it. So let's go to Leon in Avila. Hey, Leon.
Hi, Jeff, gentlemen.
How's it going?
Good morning.
Worst car was an 850 Spider convertible. It was cute, and when it ran nice.
Yeah.
But that was less than half the time. The other half the time, I was trying to fix it.
Well, we're 4 for 4 with Fiat.
There we go.
Yeah, and I learned afterwards that, they had the world's reputation for the worst car ever.
Well, they got a reputation for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And the best one is sitting in my garage right now. It's a 92 Nissan pickup truck.
Nice.
And it just keeps on running.
Yeah, very similar to the Toyota pickup in that just really a great steady Eddie. Is that a 4-cylinder or 6?
It's a little 4-cylinder.
Yeah, the 4s are more reliable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. You got the right truck there.
Okay, Bob Jones Bike Trail. I bicycle it regularly.
Yeah.
And about ringing the bell or saying on your left.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would yell off on your left.
Yeah.
And the people would move to their left.
Sure, sure. Well, everybody needs to be. I think it'd be good to have a sign right at the beginning that would give a few rules of the path. And maybe they do have one, but I haven't seen it that really spells out all the things we're talking about. But yeah, there's a certain rules of the path. We like to see the pedestrians stay on their certain side, and then the bicyclists need to ride, 15 miles an hour or slower. And call out, slow down when you see someone. I mean, there's going to be kids on the path. There's going to be kids riding bikes and on scooters and stuff like that. And you got to be very careful. So got to go a little slower and definitely shout out and everybody's got to get along on the path. I mean, stuff's going to happen.
Yeah. And Bob Jones trails and even on the hiking trails out here, I mountain bike quite a bit. And there's a few out there that are not being cognizant of other people out there on the trails. They're just going to do their thing. And I think that maybe if a couple of the bike groups could get some docents out there, and when they see something, just, a little education goes a long way.
Yeah. I think even...
Well, at the entrance to the trail in Avila Beach, there's this big sign with all these don'ts.
Okay.
But there's nothing that says keep to the right.
Right. We don't need a bunch of don'ts. Let's have this is the way you do it. It'd be nice to have a public service type thing, maybe on the TV or something like that would be put out by, maybe the Parks and Recreation or whoever's in charge of doing that path. But yeah, there's it's kind of like a busy little roadway where you've got, people doing their own thing, and there are rules of the path that really make it safer.
Yeah, well, the vast majority do keep to the right. They got their head up. They're looking around. They're aware of what's going around them. Some of them got their head down in a little tune player with the earbuds.
There's a problem.
They don't have a clue as to where they're at or that there's other people around.
And they can't hear anything. Yeah, it's true. Good point, Leon.
Okay. That's it for today.
Appreciate your call. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Leon.
I guess it's time to go to our second break of the day. We're the Motor Mouse. We are Jeff and John. We'll be back in a few, and you can reach us at 805-543-8830.
And I haven't seen this commercial, but we're going to go with a theme here because we're saying that the Fiat is the worst car. So I found a commercial for a 1970s Fiat. So
there you go.
Let's see what this commercial is.
There's the era.
5 mid-engine cars are sold in America. 4 of the world's most expensive cars, and the incomparable dynamic Fiat X19. Dynamic with its mid-engine roadability, its 1.5-liter power, its standard 5th gear. Incomparable, because there's nothing else like it in the world at anything like the price. And likely, there never will be.
When it's time to service your car,
or a warning light is starting to glow,
go see the pros at Absolute Auto.
At the corner of Sacramento and Capitolio.
Having a problem with the brakes or the steering down below?
Or an alignment to adjust the tow?
Computer systems, they do know.
Call 543-8737 to reach Absolute Auto.
Your car's fuel economy was never better than when it was new. But time and miles have robbed your car of its MPG and performance. Service managers recommend VG44K to remove carbon and restore mileage in just 1 tank of fuel. In fact, dealerships nationwide use VG44K almost 3-to-1 over any other product. To find a shop with VG products, go to VGFindAShop.com.
VG. Can you imagine selling your car next week and saying to the buyer, hey, don't worry, because the engine is covered against failure for life. It's called the Lifetime Protection Plan for the Engine from BG Products. Now imagine having this huge benefit free with your next oil service when you remember these two letters, BG. BGMOA is available at over 20,000 shops nationwide. Find yours at bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com. BG.
Hi, this is Jeff Spevack, Motormouth co-host and owner of Continental Motorworks. What can you expect here at Continental? We will treat you and your car with care and respect and gratitude. We will bend over backwards to earn your trust. You will fully understand what we are doing on your car and know how much it will cost before we do the work. You will always get value, a fair exchange. You work hard for your money. We believe we should work smarter and harder for what you pay us for. Now in our 36th year, we fix it all. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and hybrids.
Call Jeff at Continental Motorworks at 541-1464. Mention this ad and receive 10% off labor.
Hey, little Cobra, don't you know you're gonna shut them down? I took my Cobra down the track, hitched to the back of my Cadillac. Everyone was there just to wait for me. There were plenty.
Hey, we're back. We're Motormouth. Jeff and John here talking with you this morning about cars and favorite cars and least favorite cars and whatever you want to talk about. We probably got time for a couple more calls. If you'd like to ring us up, it would be at 805-543-8830. And glad to talk to you. Jack has called about his 01 Mazda 626 having some key fob problems and telling us about his favorite and least favorite cars. And Roberta and Danny and Brad and Leon. And so, yeah, Jack and Roberta and Danny and Leon all agree that the Fiat was the least favorite car or most troublesome cars. And then, you know, there's a little bit of everything on favorite cars, from GTO to Malibu to CRV to Nissan pickup. So lots of good cars out there. And, you know, that's fun conversations. John and I were talking a little bit about, you know, being in the summer here and coming up on cooling systems. Also, your air conditioning system is something that we talk about servicing every once in a while to keep the Freon in there clean and charged so it cools you properly inside the cab. So, you know, if you haven't had one of those done in about 5 years, or if your air conditioning, if the air inside your car isn't blowing as cold as it used to, then that would be something that could be taken care of really rather easily. Other things that relate to the climate control system would be that cabin air filter. Tell us a little bit about that, John.
Cabin air filters? Yeah. It's a filter that for what they call the HVAC system, heating, ventilation, air conditioning. And so that filter will take out pollen, smoke, dust in the air, so that whatever fresh air is coming into the car is cleaner. And I have seen some amazing things come out of the box that these
some stuff,
filters reside in.
Mouse traps and nice nests and all kinds of stuff.
We had one in the shop last week, and this mouse had just eaten a hole completely through the filter trying to get a little further into the maze. Seen acorns stashed in there. Seen actual mold growing in them.
Yeah. So this is the air that you're breathing through your ventilation system, and that cabin air filter is really important to keep that clean. And also the airflow that's coming through your air conditioning, is going to get compromised if you got a plugged cabin air filter.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk to Greg in SLO. Hi, Greg. Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Worst car, but I really liked the car because it was a fun car. It was an Austin Healey.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We were waiting for a British car to come in
I'm
there.
having to go in and get something for, So it was, and it also had an overheating problem, which was a pain. And also, if things were humid, like rainy season, the distributor cap would spark over and you couldn't start the engine until right out.
But other than that...
Yeah, it's just on and on. But my favorite one I have now is an 04 350Z.
Oh, nice.
Fun car.
Bought it used, but I've had more compliments on that car than any car. I mean, I've had a lot of them.
That 350 is a really cool-looking car. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's been totally reliable. Only one thing maybe, have you had the windows where like the passenger window it will kind of come back down halfway sometimes when you shut the door?
Yeah.
Is that a fixable thing?
We can. That is a fixable thing. That is something that the manufacturers have built into the cars so that the door will close easier and it doesn't take the top of the window off because it's a frameless door, as they call it. So, anyways, that it can be recalibrated. And they come out of sync every now and then, especially if somebody has a battery run down or they replace a battery, body work, those kinds of things, and then those can come out of calibration. We can adjust those. That is not a problem.
They're pretty expensive to do, or is it an adjustment?
The adjustments, it's not such a bad thing. It's about an hour of time at the most. And
cars have gotten so complicated these days. In the old days, you think of windows. They don't have any electronics to them. But now everything's got a memory.
Yeah.
And even just replacing the battery, or even just having a dead battery, or having a bad connection, can cause all kinds of strange things. We have people call and they go, "Hey, I just replaced my battery, and now my convertible top doesn't work properly, or my windows don't work, or my tire or my warning lights on." And there's all kinds of things to be. Number one, if you're doing your battery at home, you may not have kept voltage in the system. We have a special tool to keep voltage in the system. So a battery replacement is no longer a real easy thing. Sometimes you have to have the proper tools to do it, and then you have to do a reprogram on the computer system. And it sounds like yours has gotten a little scrambled there on that, Greg.
I'll have to come check it out.
But it's no big deal. It's fixable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you for calling. Thanks for calling in, Greg. So Austin Healy, once again, one of those cars that people have a love-hate relationship. He said he loved it and he hated it. Same thing. Yeah. You love the way it drives, but it breaks a lot. So real common on a British car.
That's true. Yeah.
That's one thing I never owned as a British car. I know a lot of people had that disease. So, hey, we better close this show down. We want to thank our callers. We had Jack and Roberta and Danny and Brad and Leon and Greg for making this a great show. All of you out there in Motormouth land, thank you for listening to the show. We want to thank our sponsors, BG Products. You can look them up at bgfindashop.com, featuring such great products as fuel cleaners and synthetic transmission fluids and gear oils. Absolute Auto. Go see Jason and Charlotte at the corner of Capitolio and Sacramento for locally owned expert automotive service and repairs and alignments. Continental Motorworks. We're at 1101 Laurel Lane. You can call John or Jeff at 805-541-1464. Our hours are Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30. And Bike Slow County, go on the website, check out all the great things that Bike Slow County is doing for the future of safe transportation in our county. John, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
Appreciate it. All of you out there, have a great, safe weekend. Remember our number one Motormouth recommendation, leave early, enjoy the drive.